up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's good, people? What is up? What is up?
What you gonna sip on? What's that? It look like peach.
It's Perrier.
Ooh, child. You gonna change this up?
I think the people can hear us. Hey,
Hey, hey, hey, hey.
hey, 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 hey. How are you, sir?
Uh, I'm making it. Hoping to not have to adult for a really long time after this one. How are
Mm.
you?
You know, it's a Tuesday, and on Tuesdays they seem to get butter from the duck. They seem to get butter, like the old people say, butter from the duck. This duck giving all kinds of butter today, apparently.
Giving out man butter?
I guess
I
that's
don't
the
think
good
folks
stuff.
ask no man butter.
Hmm. That's the good stuff. Anyway, hey everybody, how are you all doing today?
Hi everyone.
Um, I hope y'all are having a good day today. We are excited. We have a lot of things. Um, we have a lot of things to discuss and talk about. We are on episode 19 of Red, Blue, and Black. I'm here with my oh so handsome co-host.
Hello, hello. You held me hostage for 19 weeks doing this. Absolutely.
And you love it.
I don't. Ooh, this shit stresses. Like, you just don't realize looking for the stories, how upset I get. Not at the article. The dumbass people co-signing the fuckery that the article is talking about. That's what sets me off.
Well, then there's that.
Well, these are the same kids that ate, rocks as kids. So
I mean, my generation, we ate paste and enjoyed the paste.
are y'all sure y'all didn't have pica?
I know you're gonna let us enjoy ourselves.
I told somebody that at a job and I got written up before.
Mm. Anyway,
that's a highly educated read. You got pica.
mm. So, um, in today's episode, we got a couple things. We are going to talk about the dismantling of a government agency that no one seems to be talking about, but will affect every single citizen, black, white, blue, or purple, and that we should really be afraid about, and nobody's talking about it. We're going to talk about a pardon of a Democrat, nonetheless, that is problematic. We're going to take we got viewer recommendation from Ronald. Ronald seemed to crawl from on top of somebody's son long enough to send us a recommendation for us to break down what unitary executive theory is. And so we're going to talk about that today for you guys because we like to break stuff down for you all with our resident political scientist here.
You mean
And
me?
lastly, we'll talk about the feckless Dems and their attempt to establish leverage over this administration and our thoughts on that. So we got a jam-packed show today, sir. You ready to get this party started?
Am I not always ready to get the party started?
Yes, you are. So we'll start with that government agency that is about to be dismantled by the feds. I got a crazy theory too. I think that it may be safer, maybe. I don't know which is safer, to dismantle it or to let it stay, because we saw what they did with it the last time and people's lives were affected. What agency are we talking about? We're talking about NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Um, there is Project 2025 spoke to it, talked about completely doing away with NOAA because they believe that NOAA is one of the primary reasons for the speaking truth to power about global warming and climate change, and they want to do away with any entity that talks about climate change. Um, Doge has already gone in and started dismantling things, and started to have workers stop doing their jobs.
But
And
we talk about
even
what the folks do.
yeah, let's start by breaking down what NOAA does.
Let's talk about what the peoples do. Okay,
NOAA,
you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll let you go. Go.
Okay, so NOAA is actually under the Department of Commerce. A lot of people do not know this. They are under the Department of Commerce. You'll get to the why in a moment. They focus on monitoring and understanding the Earth's oceans, the atmosphere, and the climate. Primarily, what the most critical thing that they do is they do weather forecasting, they do climate research, which helps us with disaster preparedness, and it helps us with environmental conservation. Okay, so it sounds like this is something that people should be wanting to support, but no, they don't care. Also, under NOAA is actually the National Weather Service.
And the
So
National
if
Hurricane
you live
Center.
in Tornado Alley, if you are in an area subject to flash floods, to blizzards, they give you the real time weather forecast for severe storm warnings, and they also give you the climate predictions, forecasting to protect life and property. They're very commingled with FEMA.
Also, um, business side of it, they give guidance and they give all of the information for fisheries, for that boats use when they are navigating, and ships and boats are navigating through all of the oceans globally. They also
They do aviation.
give they also not only give weather here on Earth, they give the weather in space that affects satellites and GPS.
Because of
You should
solar storms,
know, right?
the electromagnetic effect would essentially
Hmm.
disrupt GPS. It would disrupt every single power grid on Earth, as well as our communication systems. So we wouldn't
And,
be
and
able to talk if there was a big enough solar flare.
and I think that we take for granted Noah because we wake up and we wait for the news broadcasters to give us the news, thinking that they're just pulling that out of the sky. Everything that you get from the news broadcasters, as well as on your phone, when you wake up and your phone says it's so and so temperature outside, here's the weather for the next 10 days. All of that comes from Noah, and they want to privatize these things. And the scary part about privatizing these things is the fact that private companies base things on the bottom dollar. So if you live in Gutter Snipe, Arkansas, where you have 200 people and you don't have any civilization in the surrounding 150 miles, you may not get accurate weather. You also have to contend with a lot of us eat seafood. A lot of us make a living based off of food that comes out of the water, and that's subject to the forecasts and all of the prognosticating from NOAA and everything they do. You know, with the shippings, even with aviation and your flights and airline traffic and things like that, all of the weather information they get is from NOAA. There isn't a single person in this country that is not affected every single day, all day long, by what NOAA does. Now, Cam, I said that I don't know if it's worse for them to dismantle NOAA or to keep NOAA the
Dismantle
way it
it.
is.
Dismantle it.
Well, here's the deal.
It's better
Here's the
to
deal.
send a child off to be adopted, or than to sit there and have the child at home and neglect the shit out of it.
Well, because remember, during the first Trump administration, we had Sharpie Gate.
We did have Sharpie Gate, but I think that when you look at what NOAA does, because I think the critical thing for most people is going to be, they don't even realize, but it's the aviation and the maritime navigation, right? That's a big one. The weather forecasting and warnings, that's another huge one. But they also, like, NOAA also regulates commercial fishing, which is why I believe they want to get rid of NOAA. But we already know what Project 2024 has to say about it, because the Trump administration wants them to take out terms like climate, greenhouse gas, carbon, and the Paris Agreement. Does not want those to be on any internal memorandums, any internal communications whatsoever. I just think that, to your point earlier, they want to privatize this, right? But they can't privatize it because government doesn't function like business. Business is only beholden to the stakeholders. Government is beholden to the citizens. Like, this is a public service. Public services should not be behind the wall of capitalism. We can't run the government like we do a business.
But the problem comes when we leave NOAA in the way it is, and it's completely bastardized by this administration. And the reason we bring up Sharpie Gate was an actual scientific wing of NOAA had to bend to the whimsical ideations of sun-kissed man. And for those people who don't know what Sharpie Gate was, when Hurricane Dorian came, the forecast for Hurricane Dorian came out. Um, and as you know, if you're in hurricane area, that changes depending on how far out it is. It could go from every 6 hours to every 3 hours to when it's right on top of you once an hour. So hurricane forecasts, they change and they get modified. But days out, it's every 6 hours when you have a new change. They may give some intermediary updates every 3 hours, but the closer it gets, then it goes to every 3 hours, and then it goes to every hour. The point that I'm bringing up is they put out a forecast talking about the effects that it could have to Georgia, Florida, and Georgia. Your president comes out and says, it tweets, "Oh, Alabama needs to be concerned because they're in the direct line." The acting director of NOAA comes out and says, "No, it's not. That's not true. It's not coming there. Look at the forecast." Donald John days later has the NOAA person reprimanded, and because what he did was he put up a map of an old cone. And even if you look at the old cone, I have a picture of it. Hold on. I think I have a
It
picture.
it was it was a joke at best.
This was what he put out. And see that black part right there? That black part that's drawn on the cone you see in white. Okay. They called it Sharpie Gate because it looked like somebody drew with a Sharpie that black part to include Alabama in it. And even though that was wrong, they went and had NOAA change their official advisory to be in line with what Donald John Trump. Now, of course, this was after the hurricane had passed, but they changed the records so as to make him right and this guy wrong. And if they can do that, who's to say this won't happen ahead of a storm when now you have people's lives are in danger? Please also, if Noah bends to the whims of this man's ideation, a lot of companies like insurance companies and things like that base their premiums and trends on information that comes out from Noah. Like there's so much that gets affected. This is one of those government entities that nobody thinks about and takes advantage of, not knowing that everything we do is touched by something Noah is researching.
I do want to touch to a point. When you were saying what you were talking about earlier, kind of made me think about this. When you look at it through the lens of the attacks on education over the past 40 plus years, it makes sense, especially when you look at it through the lens of him attacking NIH and them being able to issue grants for medical research. It, I think the purpose is to cast doubt over the scientific community. If you can get people to doubt the integrity of science, just like what happened in the 2020 election, they'll sleepwalk right into getting rid of this. And I think that's the point, to undermine and erode trust and the government, period, no matter what type of apparatus we're looking at. And then on the same token, conservatives want to complain that we're falling behind, we're falling behind, we're falling behind. Making these cuts just puts us further behind in STEM, which we're not. We have like double the amount of scientific authors than any other country on the planet. We're doing fine there. But this really does threaten the American interest in the long term. And I think not enough people are thinking about that. They're just thinking about the damages he's going to do now. But what about the lingering damage? Look at our stature in the international community after these tariff wars. Our closest allies know that our word ain't worth shit right now.
Mm.
Look at what the EU is saying. The EU is saying we'll go it alone. We're growing increasingly isolated, and that doesn't benefit any of us, but it does benefit China and Russia long
Does.
term. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I also want to throw out the fact that the only country that's benefiting from all of our foolery is a country that cannot help us, like Israel. There is not, if we get involved in any type of war, there's no, how are they going to help us when anything
They
they
can't
have?
help themselves with the
And
8
that's the
billion
point that I'm making.
people.
The point that I'm making is everything that they do comes from us. Everything that they have comes from us. And all of our allies, we're alienating, right? Canada, EU, China, not China, UK.
Mexico.
We're all of our allies, we're alienating, right?
Yeah. So
But
these
then,
strategic partnerships that take decades to build can be
mhm,
ripped apart in years.
but you are now out there testing the waters of unfettered wars in the Middle East. You're over there touching the hornet's nest of a very fragile situation in the Middle East while simultaneously alienating all of your allies who you would try to look to help you involve yourself in any conflict. I'm just putting that out there.
Diamond Pearl Jim sees it the same way I do. We're gonna have to repair those relationships hardcore. Like we were some addicts.
We are going rogue. And what's scary is no a lot of our stalwart institutions are the foundation and bedrock of other agencies and institutions around the world. For example, in this case, NOAA, the information that NOAA collects is the foundation and bedrock for a lot of organizations around the country. They're also telling employees over at NOAA not to speak with any foreign agents or foreign entities. And the thing about that is oceanic, trends don't have borders. The weather does not have borders. And we depend on other countries to tell us what's going on over there. So that gives us all of the information and data points we need to make good forecasts, to tell what's going on, in the oceans, in the weather. There's no such animal as of us just saying, "Oh, we're just concerned about the weather in the United States. We're not going to talk to anybody else." That's
No,
not how climate works.
we track the underwater seismic activity. We also track tsunamis, and that's how we track our tsunamis. Like we want to know, are these instances going up? Oh, by the way, all of this data that NOAA has,
Mm.
that gets used by actuaries who then calculate the risk of insuring you. Without that NOAA data, what do you think is going to happen to insurance? Businesses do not operate on uncertainty, which is why I do think that this president is going to crash the economy again. There's no rhyme or reason to any of these decisions, how they impact businesses, how they impact the average American. Government's the problem. Have you seen some of these goddamn states? State governments. It's still government. And some of them suck.
You know what's so scary about this? The largest, I'll call it, company and richest company in the world is the United States government. And it's now in the hands of two people that have failed at running any company. That would be Elon Musk, who every company that he's gotten has failed upon him getting control,
Or,
and Donald John. Every company that he has created has failed.
I
And
just
these
wanted
are
to
the two
interject,
people.
Musk
Mhm.
does have successful businesses. However, these successful businesses are successful only when you dig into the financials and you see that the US government is subsidizing good old Elon.
I mean, well, the point that I'm making with when I put it saying failure is he will buy a company that's here
Drive the valuation down.
and drive it into the ground. Like stocks don't go up. The appreciation of that company diminishes. And we know the history of Donald John and his failures at every turn.
He's
And, and
failed
you're
at everything he's ever
expecting
done.
these two people to run the country? They're going to run it into the ground.
I mean, it's going
And
to be
they're
X.
and they're going to be allowed to do this. The biggest failure of all of this, as much as we're going to try to blame Donald John and Article 2, the biggest failure to the American electorate is going to be Article 1. Because it is going to be Article 1, that being the legislature, who we've seen not be able to do a damn thing, regardless if there is Republican or Democrat in the seat. The last, I'm going to say the last major, and I have qualifications on what I consider major. The last
Major
major piece of
like
legislation to come out of Congress was the Affordable Care Act. I'm saying major for me. I have qualifications to what before that, I could think something like Dodd Frank. That was major legislation. Affordable Care Act is what I call major legislation.
I
And
No Child Left Behind. I throw up there too.
but that's going back. That's going, I'm going in order. Dodd Frank and Nickleby is around the same time. Nickleby was a little earlier. Dodd Frank came a little after Nickleby.
I'll
But
be honest.
Nickleby is major. That's major
Major
legislation.
legislation.
Major. Dodd Frank, major. Affordable Care Act, major. Since then, Article 1 can't get its act together. There's so much infighting. There's so much we can't get. We're just kicking the can down the road. And now, what Article 2 is playing upon is watching these people not being able to legislate. The executive branch has sat back. If I'm Donald John, I done sat back during my first administration and during Biden's administration and said, "Oh, the legislature, they can't get their acts together regardless who has power. So let me play on that and do whatever the hell I want. Just go with reckless abandon and go roughshod through DC." And then the only thing that you have left is Article 3. And they just told us they don't give a damn about Article 3. They don't give a damn about the judiciary. Because, like I said earlier on my live earlier,
They said we're
what
not
is
following
the
that damn law.
what's the agency that enforces anything that the judiciary puts out? The U.S. Marshals.
We fall under
Guess
the
who
DOJ.
hires the U.S. Marshals? The executive branch. And if they put all of their people to be U.S. Marshals, those same U.S. Marshals who the judiciary is going to send out to execute their rulings, what's going to happen? Here we are. Here the fuck we are. Here we are. That's why I say the Article 1, the legislature, they absolutely have the power to check the fuck out of the executive branch. They have the power to shut shit down. And they're just laying there. And even the Dems, These bastards
Who?
ain't doing their job. We'll get to the Dems
Mhm.
in a few moments. We'll get to them in our later conversation. But let's be clear.
I'm just look over here. This ain't got nothing to do with me.
We are really, this is a scary time. Scary time. So I wanted to start with Noah because the
I'm
dis
dead at locked buildings. I'm sorry. I'm dead at locked buildings because they
right,
ain't got into not one building.
not one, not one. But we are looking at the dismantling of Noah, and you don't hear a lot of talk about it. It's not making
It's
mainstream.
not political because it's not
Right.
supposed to be. It's a boring government agency that does their job efficiently and effectively.
But the problem is when they shut, that is the fastest way to get people's attention. If you dismantle Noah, it will have immediate effects on everything that you know. But let's be clear, it will have immediate effect.
Immediate effect. Immediate.
Immediate.
I mean, I'll say this. You know what I'm saying? Even when I read Project 2025 and I looked at this on this, this week's episode of Six Sad World, I don't understand the specific outcomes that they're looking for because it's not coherent. But again, you can't use logic to get yourself out of a situation you didn't use logic to get into. Thus, I'm just sitting here questioning not the logic, but who benefits.
You know
That's
what's
the
going
big
to
question.
happen? Oh, I got a good answer for who benefits. A lot of these bastards know, they're on their way to glory in a few years anyway. So they're ready to ride
They're
this
not
shit
going
out.
to glory though. They're going to be
Their
looking
glory,
up
no,
at us.
glory for them is the glory hole on the ninth level of hell. Let's be clear. That's the glory hole that they're looking at. The glory that they're looking at is the glory hole on the ninth level of hell. And so when they descend down to the glory hole found on the ninth level of hell, we will all be reaping the ramifications that they put into place. They're going to ride this shit out, ride the rocket down, have a blast on, because their heaven is here on earth, and then descend down to the ninth level of hell and leave us up here damn near joining them, because up here will be the eighth level of hell. Living up here will damn near be the eighth level of hell.
I need them to fry like some chicken that's in some vegetable oil that you had cooked some fish in before, though. That's how I need them to be cooking on that ninth layer. And don't clean none of the debris out. Just leave it all in there. Because they're trash too. It's just like they showed this one woman, she was 100 and something, talking about she finna vote for Trump. I said, this bitch voting for a future she not gonna see. Hell, we don't know if she gonna make it till tomorrow. This is why I think that once you become of a certain age, you gracefully bow out. If
But
we would
those
have
same
had
people,
people when you supposed to be fucking retired, when the average person is taking their social security check, you need to take your ass to the home too. You need to get your ass down from Congress. Go and play some damn gin rummy, some bridge, learn how to quilt and
that's
crochet.
what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be somewhere playing spades, gin rummy, blackjack. I'm not gonna be bothered, okay? When I get that, I'm not gonna be bothered. I'm not.
Look, I don't want to be bothered now, and I'm
Right.
not 40.
I'm gonna be somewhere on a cruise every other month, going to visit people. What y'all do? I'm not gonna be bothered with all of this.
I tell you what, I can't wait to
Anyway,
be retired. You mean I'm finna be 70 something trying to do all these damn briefings and shit? Let it go.
let it go, please. Please let it go. We're going to let Noah go now and talk about the fact that a
Well,
Democrat was pardoned by your president. Oh, yes.
that
Former
damn
Illinois
criminal.
Governor Rod Blagojevich, his sentence was commuted back during Trump's first term, but
Mhm.
he's gotten a full presidential pardon from Donald John. Now, the issue was when he was governor and Barack Hussein Obama vacated his Senate seat to become the president of these yet to be United States of America. He tried to sell the Senate seat.
Mind you, they had it on tape. They had the audio.
So
Well, they
now
buried it today, so
he was impeached and ousted as governor of Illinois. He was indicted. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison. He served 8 of them.
8,
He
yeah.
was he was disbarred by the Illinois Supreme Court. Like any and all bad things that can happen absolutely happened to him, as they should. But your president saw him as a great man, similar to how he sees the goddamn Eric Adams. You should be weary of any Democrat that your president is pardoning or is looking favorably on. Because that should tell you there's a problem with that person. But this Blagojevich pardon is more of the same. More of the same.
I mean, we're not draining the swamp. We're just taking the nuclear waste and we just jumping in, just throwing barrels of it in there.
You heard they're trying to they're thinking about him being ambassador to Serbia.
What you want me to do about it? I can't be more angry and upset than the ones that have the ability to stop this damn chaos and have abdicated from their responsibility to do so, i.e., them bitches in Article 1. The corruption is the point. It's a grift right in front of your eyes. And every time somebody questions what this president does, he looks at them and says, you gonna believe me or them lying ass eyes?" And they fall for him hook, line, and sinker every time. It's a cult.
Well, my thing about it is,
I got nothing else.
uh,
Shit. What
they're
can't
not, like you said, they're not hiding anymore what they're doing. Every bad agent, they're they're married to every bad actor that you've ever seen in any position. They're married to them. It's more of the same. I fully expect him to have a position in his cabinet. I fully expect that.
waiting for that
I'm
ass?
just saying.
Waiting for that ass. Thank you. Come again.
Did you take out katana blades on somebody?
Baby. You don't realize that. Look. So
I'm here for it.
for
Y'all
those
know
of
me.
you who
I'll
don't
ask the
know,
questions.
I had to replace my furnace and my AC on Monday, so I'm itching to slice
Mm.
the necks up in the
Y'all can come
comment.
up. Listen, the trolls can come in here with the foolishness. I don't have it. My hands is always up here. I don't do nothing. I have hall monitors that handle all of this. They walk heavy. They walk the halls. They walk the halls quite heavy. So when you get done up, run
Run
up and
up.
get done
You
up.
will be done up every time on this channel. Let me be in the live.
Go
Greeting.
ahead and get gathered. Harold be over there trying to be nice to people. Y'all got the wrong one. Kamz be over here with katana blades and sniper rifles ready and ready to go.
Look, talk shit, get hit. Hey, my really be.
Hey girl, hey. So yeah, I just wanted to bring to do Bob, not Bob, Rod Blagojevich, to give us a chance to have a little breather, to give us a light before we go into the last two stories, because the last two stories going to take us a bit. So let's talk unitary executive theory.
Theory?
Now, Mr. Kamz, do you want to break down what unitary executive theory is for the people?
Sure. So, unitary executive theory is a constitutional interpretation, i.e., this is how people read it. It's not what it actually says. That the U.S. president has complete control over the executive branch. It asserts that all of the executive power is centralized through the president, and that Congress and the judiciary have very limited authority to interfere with how the executive branch would function. So essentially, it would make checks and balances worthless. Um, but under this theory, the president has the exclusive power to direct executive agencies and officials. I would assume to include getting rid of them. No part of the executive branch can act independently of the president. So what the president says goes. There is no interdependence. There is no independence, excuse me, under under this sort of theory of the Constitution. They have unrestricted removal power. Um, they don't need the judiciary or approval from Congress. This applies to even positions that Congress would traditionally protect from being arbitrarily dismissed, i.e., an independent agency. They would have the ability to remove. Um, Congress can create laws to guide how the executive, but they can't interfere in how the law is applied, which makes no sense because they're the legislative. But anyway, um, their oversight is exceptionally limited because, again, the president has absolute authority over the executive, so their powers of oversight would be very weak. Um, Courts are not able to intervene under this, and legal challenges to the executive power are considered intrusions into the president's powers. Now, I'm not going to lie, there are some Supreme Court precedents that I'm going to read you over here. First, there was Myers versus the United States. It ruled that the president had full power to remove executive officials. Humphrey's executive versus the United States in 35 limited the president's removal power for independent agencies. Celia Law LLC versus the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau reinforced the president's ability to remove executive officials without restriction. So that's where we're at right now. It was a very fringe sort of theory, but more and more conservatives is what I'm going to call them. I'm not going to use those other.
I really think that the problem that you're going to have with this theory is when it reaches SCOTUS. Because SCOTUS, in that ruling where they basically made him a God king, giving him full immunity, basically has basically said that they're in agreement for the most part with this. My 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 concern is when you have how you thread the needle when Congress enacts laws that codifies certain entities. For example, a lot of these firings, when you see lawsuits like when the inspectors general were fired, the reason that they sued was Congress enacted a law that dictated if you're going to fire them, here are the parameters by which they're fired.
You have
We
to
have
give
to
30
have
days.
certain amount of days notice. There has to be just cause and different provisos in place. And my question is, even if you're a staunch believer in unitary executive theory, how do you rationalize that with knowing that Article 1 can enact laws, and you say that Article 2 can just choose not to guide themselves by law? How does the judiciary, whose job it is to interpret law, thread that needle? That's where that comes into place. Only reason I said a certain number of days, Diamond Pearl Gem, is because there are other positions that where it's not 30 days. Some positions are 90 days they need in advance. Some positions are 30 days. It just depends on the law that they put in, the position and the laws that they have in place for them. But that's my real concern, because they want the executive branch. In their theory, they're thinking that when they made the executive branch, that was the founding fathers' way of having a pseudo king, but then having the legislature, be by the
There's
people.
one thing I do want to read to you from the Constitution, since you mentioned king. I wanted to be very, very clear. This is Article 1, Section 9 at the end. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office or profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. We are very clear that there is no nobility. There is no king. There is no sort of monarchy in America. The Constitution makes it very clear by saying that ain't no titles of nobility given out in the United States. I think that's very clear from the text. But continue.
Oh, I'm clear on that. And I'm glad you mentioned that. The concern comes, they don't want to have the title or a monarchy in terms of bloodline or nobility. However, they want to grant a person all of the unfettered power of a monarch and or authoritarian with this unitary executive theory, which doesn't flesh well
I
when
mean, even if you read the Constitution, like it
it
doesn't
just doesn't make. That's why I'm saying it
it
just does
doesn't
not,
say you can do any of this.
any of it, which is why when
Like Article 1 is this freaking long.
which is why I said, when SCOTUS basically gave this man that immunity, it was in direct violation. It was a complete misinterpretation of these yet to the Constitution of these yet to be United States of America. So if and when you have these people that are holding fast to this theory, you have these people that are saying you can't tell the president how to run the executive. That doesn't even match well with the fact that all of the agencies of the executive branch are delineated from Article 1. The legislature decide the various agencies of the executive branch. How then do you say y'all are in charge with telling me what agencies I have, but y'all can't tell me how to run those agencies? Y'all are supposed to give me the money to run those agencies, but just give me these lump sum and y'all can't tell me how to spend it. That's not how this works. That's not what's written there.
Well, they overturned Chevron, so I mean that I think, and when you really think about it like this, right? Chevron essentially um, said, if Congress intent is clear, uh, the court applies the statutes, wording in context. If it's ambiguous, the court defers to the agency, whatever that agency is, reasonable interpretation, due to the fact that these are the policy experts. They are they do the day to day of this stuff. The court will be considered a layperson, so they defer to them. So it when they overturned that, I mean, you could see that as sort of an opening salvo in this unitary executive, bullshit, argle bargle. Isn't that what Scalia put in one of his
Yeah.
dissents? Argle bargle. Um,
No, I get your point because especially in today's climate, when they fill these agencies with all of their sycophants and acolytes with the cult of Donald John, what's going to happen is if the courts are going to defer to these people, where will we be?
I mean, well, seeing as that framework is done, we won't listen. We won't be listening to anybody that they appoint. It doesn't matter.
Just a mess. A mess.
They got rid of that.
Mm. Well, since we're speaking of Article 1,
Article one.
let's bring these
Article
people up.
one.
I'm not gonna spike out. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not,
I
Cams. Okay,
am.
Cams, I'm not gonna spike out on this topic.
I'm
I'm
a
gonna tell you.
blackout. I got so much smoke for these damn people. You think I was a California wildfire?
So, our last topic today is the Democrats' attempt to gain leverage over this administration. They intend to do that with the upcoming March 14th government shutdown. There are two theories of thought. One theory of thought by parts of the Democratic Party is let this bitch shut down, use that as leverage to tell Donald John and Elon Musk that we ain't going for this fuck shit. If you don't take your hands off of all of this stuff and you don't act right, then we just gonna let the government shut down and y'all will be their fault and people will think it's your fault. The other line of thinking is
Mm-hmm,
in the
mm-hmm.
Democratic Party is, oh hell no, because if y'all let the government shut down, people will see it as being our fault. And even though they're already shutting the government down, they'll think it's all our fault. My theory is it falls right into their trap because in a government shutdown, OMB government shutdown means the government shutdowns except agencies or entities or parts of the government that is responsible for the well-being of the American citizens is necessary and or essential to life, well-being, and so forth of American citizens. And I'm really painting that with a broad stroke. But the point that I want to make is OMB, that's now run by Richard Vaught, a co-author of Project 2025, gets to determine what falls under that bracket of necessary, even in the case of of a government shutdown. So technically, would you be doing exactly what the clandestine organization Doge is trying to do now by letting this shit shut down?
Yes.
And so instead of doing the work, instead of trying to get ahead of this, instead of working the policies, procedures, the loopholes, the catch-alls within the confines of what they're supposed to do in Congress, they want to let the government shut down and have and go from there. I'll let you go, Cam, and I'll reserve my commentary until after you make your commentary on this.
They not gonna do shit. I think that, we talked about this backstage, but there are very mixed political outcomes when you have these government shutdowns, because all that the voting population sees is a bunch of people who are over will pay way more than the average American worker that can't do a basic part of their job. Okay, I'm gonna just say that, and I think that a government shutdown would not be good optics, especially when you have these fervent Trump supporters that are all behind Trump and First Lady Musk and Doge and cutting spending. They're like, see, we can't even vote to keep we can't even get a budget going. Government's the problem. Let's get rid of more and more, but let's streamline it. That feeds into that narrative of government efficiency. So I don't think it would be wise of them to push this. I think that what I would do if I were them, create a wedge issue amongst the Republicans, because I don't know if you've read this, but the Freedom Caucus, what they want to do and what other Republicans want to do
Yeah.
ain't the same thing. Because I said they want to raise the debt ceiling. What?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the Dems, if they really want to play this the right way, you cause division and dissension between the Freedom Caucus and the rest of the Republicans. I think that is the most surefire way to get what you want out of these negotiations, because it's clear that the Freedom Caucus will allow the government shutdown. They are about that life. So what do? You finagle. You use that. You hype them up, and you use that as leverage. You get them fighting, and you pounce on the opportunity. That's what I would do, though. But
I like that
I ain't
theory.
nobody political strategist.
No, but I like that theory. Here's the problem. The problem is
Talk to me.
the Dems, and I'm going to lean into what you
Are
just
we?
said. The problem is the Dems don't strategize well. They talk a good game about being bipartisan, but they don't strategize well and do things like that. If you have a splintered Republican Party, because for as much as they talk about the Dems being splintered and fractured and having different factions within the party, the Republicans are much more splintered and they don't take advantage of that. So if I'm the Dems, I do exactly what you said. We hold fast together, we get a faction, and we lean into a faction of the Republican Party that feels bad enough, and we can get to come on to our side. We'll have to give up some concessions. Hell, we giving up everything now. Might as well give up a few concessions to get some concessions.
I
And
would
then,
rather I would rather cut off some fingers than lose a whole arm.
right. So if you can get, if, for example, if I'm the Dems in the
Hmm.
House is very fragile. And if you can get a caucus within the Republican Party, be it the Freedom Caucus, be it any one of those caucuses within the Republican Party, and get them so angry. So you're supposed to be working that shit up now. You're supposed to have already started the talking points that get them bastards mad at each other now. You're supposed to already be planning stories in political news commentary that fractures the Republican Party. You're supposed to have already started that. So what you can do then is tap into that. You know what? You're right. Come, let's talk. Cause I will let y'all have this if y'all let us have that. And get enough of them to come over there, still have the majority of the Republican Party over there, but get enough on your side, Dems, that can get something pushed through.
That's what I'm. See, come on, Ronald, in the comments.
There it is.
When he ain't got somebody's son folded like a pretzel, just
Right.
great commentary.
When he ain't got somebody's son laid up under him. I listen, Ronald, they should be all over it. The farmers in the Midwest are too angry. And I would be going to all of those representatives in fucking Nebraska, in Idaho, in Iowa,
You know you
in
don't.
a lot of these farming countries that say, listen, we'll work with you, you work with us. But we got midterms coming up. Hey, We got midterms coming
And
up.
to that point, El Teddy, one of the few bills that was never politicized was the damn farm bill.
And they're gutting the farm bill right now. Gutting it.
I mean,
That's leverage right there. If you want to talk real leverage, there's the real leverage. Look at how you can really play politics and strategize. Don't use the backs of American workers who you say you're on the side of as leverage, because you're asking millions of workers for the US government to take furloughs and not get paid. That's not going to go over well.
yeah, that furlough. That's why I'm no longer a federal employee. Everybody else was furloughed. I was still working, not getting no paycheck. That made me mad. If I was sitting at home binging Netflix, eating some ice cream, eating some macaroons, I would have been fine. But working for free, my people were delivered from that.
Child.
And you know what? The Dems would have had time to do all this strategizing and planning if they weren't, consistently doing these photo ops where they locked out of these buildings they know they ain't finna damn get into. How many buildings are we gonna do this to?
But here's my question. If you want to have a protest outside these buildings, be my guest. But what are you going to the building? Who are you going to go talk to? Because you talking about they won't let us in the building, or we can't go talk to somebody. Hello, you are Congress. You do realize that you're Congress, right? You do realize they should be coming to you, not you going to them. That's not how this is supposed to work.
That's not how any of this is supposed to work. But again, we're living in bizarro world right now. Nothing makes sense.
And my other question is, if they let you in the building, what are you going to do? What's going to happen now?
Who asked you gonna be?
What next? They let you in the building. You know what? Come on in. Okay, they let you in. What happens now?
Now, if it was me, I'd pull out the belt.
What happens now?
I mean, because is Doge there when you're there? Are you using your power of oversight to see what Doge does? Because they're hiding behind this cloud of secrecy. Even though they're supposed to be all about government transparency, we don't know what they're doing.
And the thing about it is,
also, one of them got fired for leaking company secrets, and we have him touching sensitive data.
we got motherfuckers who have usernames such
Big
as
balls.
Big Balls all over the fucking U.S. Treasury Department system. What are we talking about?
Then here's my whole thing, El Teddy, right? This is the funniest thing about them, shuttering all these agencies. We still own the fucking bill. We still paying the fucking lease. You done ordered all these people to return to office.
Only to
right?
tell them don't come back.
Don't come to the office. What is that?
You told them that everybody got to come back to work. They start coming back to work. Now you say, "Oh, don't come back to work no more." Bitch, what do you want from me?
This is how you know that there is no.
Oh my god!
They're flying by the seat of their pants day to day. They make this shit up as they go along. This is improv governance. Okay, this is improv. There's no script. You can't make this up.
Listen, you know what this is exposed. Now I got a bigger thing that this is exposing, Kamz. This is really exposing that a lot of elected officials in Congress have never done anything. They don't want to do anything. They haven't done anything but get their pockets lined by lobbyists.
You talking about Nancy Pelosi?
I'm gonna talk about Nancy both sides, and I say that because absolutely, and I say that because you have people. Oh yeah. We talk about Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin and Patty Byrd too. And Patty Byrd too. All of them. All of them. Because my thing about it is they're shutting down the government. And guess what the Republican Party in Congress is doing? Okay, no problem. We ain't got nothing to do. Okay, we good with that. Long as we get paid. They ain't did shit in Congress for the last 8 to 10 years. I just talked
We can
about
go
that.
back further.
Right. We could go back further than
We can
8 to
go
10
back
years.
further.
I told you the last serious piece of legislation to come out of Congress was the Affordable Care Act. And when was that? 20, what, 10?
Yes, the director of he does want to traumatize federal workforce. He specifically said he wants y'all to live in fear.
So Congress ain't been doing a fuck thing for
No,
about 15 years.
nope.
And a lot of these representatives have come into Congress within that time period, so they've never been a part of a Congress that did a goddamn thing. So you're talking about a good amount of Congress that ain't never did nothing, ain't trying to start.
Okay, let me go back to the most productive Congress. Okay, guess under which administration this was?
Clinton.
Hell no, it's way further back than you think.
Carter. Further back than that, you got to go back to Johnson. I'm gonna say
the 89th U.S. Congress, which was from January the 3rd, 1965 to January the 3rd, 1967. That is the most effective Congress we have ever had, and it is the last time there's ever been a 2/3 supermajority in Congress. All that civil rights legislation that was passed, they were rubber stamping that thing through there. But as you know, these more modern Congresses have actually shown us they're less and less productive. Like in the number of laws that they pass, they not even passing laws. They'll give us a National Defense Authorization Act. They'll give us a cute little farm bill. The thing of the thing of the things. They'll give us a continuing resolution, but like actual legislation, no.
when have we had our last amendment?
Ooh, you was 35 back then. I said, woo, you was hot to try.
I was. Child.
Ooh, look at
They was wearing them real tight pants back then. I was here
during
for
my
it.
lifetime. This was like 92. The 27th Amendment? 92?
That was the last amendment?
Yep. And all that did was prevent Congress from changing their pay during the session. It has to happen after. So if they're in the 110th Congress, the 111th will get it. Yeah. That's the last thing that they passed.
So that was 33 years ago.
Well. I mean,
told you they don't do anything.
We've only sent 33 amendments to be ratified, and we've done 27.
And my thing about it is, we always talk about the fragility of this American
it is an experiment. It is an experiment. And the thing about it is, like women more.
We've seen that if not for assumed concessions and norms and silent standing rules and gentlemen's agreements, this shit falls apart.
Ben fell apart.
And now you have someone in a position of power that knows that, understands that, and is reveling in it. That's where we are. So, and I fully expect this to blow up in the Dems' face. I don't expect the Democrats to come to any agreement on anything of note. They're not going to come up with any fucking plan to thwart this administration. This administration, if it goes down, it's going to be at their own doing. Anything that happens in the midterm election will not be a byproduct of anything that the goddamn Dems did, it's going to be a byproduct of the fact that this administration went way off the rails, and the American people are so affected that they say something's got to give. But it will be at no point because of anything that the Democratic Party does.
But I want to say this too. I don't want to be too rough on the Democrats, but because I have real smoke fever for these Republicans that know what they're voting for, and they're fine with it because they'll be insulated from the consequences, but their constituents won't be. There's a special place in hell for people like a Susan Collins.
Oh yeah, Susan Collins can burn in hell. Her shaking head, Parkinson's having ass, she can shake her head and burn in hell. Susan Collins, I never want to hear from a Susan Collins.
She's
Lisa,
always concerned, and then she still votes for it. Or they let her get that symbolic no vote because they knew they had enough votes to begin with. It's political theater.
her and Lisa Murkowski,
Well,
both of them. That's just like I don't
and
want to
then
hear
the
from.
cowardly GOP, who a lot of them are like sounding the alarms, but y'all aren't going to do anything because you're so scared that Musk is going to bankroll a primary challenger. You know what you could do on your way out? You
Eat a
pass
dick.
all this legislation that fills these gaps that no one thought about. What if we do elect a megalomaniac president that wants to be an emperor? Oh no, what do we do? Now this is the time you fight back through legislation. You make it very clear what those limits on the executive are. So what, you have to sacrifice your political career. So be it. History will not look kindly upon this Congress. Because
At
to
all.
me it's
Either
an
side.
absolute
Either side
abdication.
of the aisle.
It's an
Either side of the
absolute
aisle.
abdication of their responsibility. I mean, because ain't nobody doing no goddamn work in Congress. You might as well go on a fucking
None.
podcast. You got time to go parade around the goddamn mall in DC, getting denied interest to build is left and fucking right. Maybe they should take their ass to the Smithsonian and go look at the policies of appeasement and what led to World War II. Can we do that? Because we're just appeasing this motherfucker. He's just gonna want more and more. Have you seen how big this motherfucker is? You know he's only gonna want more.
Listen, at this point,
I'm gonna just be drunk every night in damn 2025. That's what's gonna be happening.
at this point, I just feel like y'all got to go into this shit. If you're serious about the existential threat to democracy and you're watching it go down, you're not screaming holy hell enough. People in positions of power, y'all are just, I mean, the most alarming social media post I've seen is Chuck Schumer saying Congress should do something about this. That was the most
Look, if you're
disrespectful
gonna do
post.
Chuck Schumer, I need them to be at the tip of your damn nose.
Mm.
The tip.
Congress should do something about it.
It's like, look, here's the thing that I have to say to everybody on both sides of the aisle. Okay, either lead or get the fuck out of the way and let someone else do it that wants to do it. I'm not talking about the power. I'm not talking about the influence that you have. I mean, you want to go to DC and conduct the work that is going to benefit the American people. Regardless of your political slant, there should be certain things where we're looking at this like, this is harmful to the average American. This doesn't need to go. This is going to benefit the average American. I think we need to support this. It's they're too busy playing sports and shit when that's not the goal. That ain't the goal. You right, Chuck Show, dude. I don't even think Chuck know what the fuck he had half the damn time. That's why them glasses so far down. I don't know none of these damn people.
Listen, at this point, here's what I would be doing. If y'all don't have nothing to say in Washington D.C., they got the votes they need anyway. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going on a fucking campaign tour all over the country, s- setting up. Y'all got money in the DNC, setting up shit like we already in election season. Fuck that shit. Y'all gonna do what y'all want to do anyway, baby. We have a whole campaign, baby. I'll be in Nebraska. I'll be in Iowa. I'll be in Idaho like it's fucking campaign season. Having every farmer come in here saying, "Hey, we mad just like y'all mad. Let me show y'all some of the things that we would love to do, but these Republicans over here not let y'all got to meet fire with fire. Meet the people where they at. I will have a whole blow up chart. Let me show you the amount of times egg prices went up since this
Where the
bastard
hell
went
Katie at?
in power. I will have a whole chart saying, let me show you what's gonna go up in price now that tariffs are coming. Let y'all are not doing anything. Y'all just sitting there like, oh, they locked us out the building. Baby, what?
This
What?
this this, this what I got for him. To echo your point, get Katie Porter. Get her to get that damn whiteboard. Tell her to pull that shit out.
Okay.
Tell her to go on Joe Rogan, go to all these red pill incel bullshit, and start hitting them with some facts because they swear they're logical. They swear they're logical. Get them damn people where the fuck they at. Because
I'm
look,
telling
all
you.
Katie Porter got to do is come out with, well, you know, the more we fuck around, the more we're gonna find out. Like that's just what's gonna happen. It's mathematical. The more you fuck around, the more you find out. There's
And
some things that we could give to farmers that cost us nothing in legislative victories. It costs us nothing in political power.
see, if you are the Dems and you're so concerned about the existential threat to democracy, you are at DEFCON 1 right now, threat level red. I would get any and everybody that can speak truth to power and is powerful. I'd go find Corey Bush. Corey, we know we did you wrong, but girl, come on over here. We need you to Katie Porter, baby, come on over here. Pete Buttigieg, I need all my people that could be out here. Tim Walls, we did you dirty and tried to shut you up. But come on over here. Shapiro, we need you too. Everybody, we need people that can talk to the people. That's what
Well,
we need. Because y'all ain't doing a fuck thing down to the Capitol building. Down in DC, you're not doing anything.
AOC trying. AOC in
You
the
we
squad.
got
My
people
girls in
like
the squad
AOC,
trying.
Ayanna Presley is out there, one of the best speakers out there right now. Jasmine is out there. We got people out there, but we need these people in front of the people because they're not getting through at Congress. We need them in front of large swaths of the electorate. And I ain't just talking about Democratic or left leaning electorate because there's people hurting on both sides. The other part that I'm scared that the Dems are going to do is what I said earlier. What the Dems are going to expect to happen, they're just waiting for a win to fall into their lap. They're not good. They're not planning. They don't have a plan. They don't have initiative. They're waiting for the shit to go so far into the fucking hell in the handbasket that they just have this windfall in 2026 that they didn't earn and they shouldn't have. And then when they get it, they're going to do like they did the last time, and nothing's going to come out of it. Nothing tangible.
I really do think that the Dems could really seize the opportunity with the midterms. Now, if it gets bad enough, they might be able to flip some Senate seats. Now, they might be. We just might see. But I don't feel comfortable, even if the Dems had a slight majority in the Senate, because you've seen how these people have voted for these confirmations. I do not trust them. They are not reliable.
Like I heard today somebody was saying that the Tulsi Gabbard nomination may be in jeopardy because they're expecting another 50-50 split. I don't expect that at all. I expect her to make it through because they're saying
I
that
don't think that she should
the
make it
vice
through.
president will be out of town on Monday when she comes up for a vote. He'll still be at the AI conference over in
She
France.
is a foreign intelligence asset. I'm saying it now. She's going to be the biggest intelligence leak in history if they vote this woman through.
They're saying that she could be a 50-50 split. And if uh, uh, um, JD is not there to cast the tiebreaker, then what happens? I'll let you tell us what happens. I don't know. I don't know the
They
answer.
can send that bitch right back up. Shit. If they're smart, they'll just delay it if they don't have the votes. That's what's going to happen. If they don't have 51 votes, they'll just delay it until JD Vance is back. So if it does go 50-50, he can break the tie. That's what smart political maneuvering looks like.
They'll probably do that.
I mean, Tracy, like there were already things that we have that account for that. Like there's a lot of things that are built into a lot of these indexes that we use to determine whether the economy is doing great or not.
But Kamz, don't forget, they're going to take away all of these entities that makes and creates these indexes in the federal government.
All I know is that if they get rid of the Department of Commerce, we're fucked because the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, yeah. I'm just saying. We kind of need NIST. If you care about any damn thing on your computer and best practices, if you care about your sensitive data, you want NIST to stay around.
Oh, Kamz, I forgot to tell you yesterday when you left my class early, we were talking about VPNs and how we need VPNs, and I thought you were still in the chat. And I
Oh,
was like, Cams, can you put in the chat some good VPNs that the people can, get that can help them protect themselves because you can't say whatever you want on the internet without the government snooping in now. And so a good VPN may be of interest to you in this climate and in this day and age. And that's why I think Tracy or somebody asked you about that earlier because I was saying
Tracy
Camps can give us some
did. I will. I mean, I got something I can throw
in the members only chat.
in the Discord. Yeah, there's actually a.
Shout out to the members.
Hey Zay, what's up?
Shout out to the members.
Down there to the members. I mean, I use my VPN for very specific purposes, but I can post this in Lay group chat.
So anyway, y'all, Camps, we were very efficient today.
I mean, honestly, I feel like we need to do less. When we do less stories, we get into the thing of the things, and we still get
We
out on
do.
time.
High five.
Boop. I forgot. I'm reversed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Mm-hmm.
No, I was reading that comment. That's why I said that. As a former auditor, we work hard to get health care insurance to get into this.
Candace, not you having your former career is my current. I'm an IT auditor currently. Love this.
What we're not gonna have, Paul, is you over here openly flirting with my work husband in the chat. That's what we're
Y'all should
not
be
gonna have,
glad that
Paul.
my partner can't fight. Y'all should be glad. But the
Paul, I'm not gonna have you flirting with my work husband in my face.
no, honestly, Paul, I gotta go get a haircut. Valentine's Day is on free day.
Valentine's Day is this weekend,
It's on free day.
and we got a 3-day weekend because President's Day is Monday.
That whack ass day. I don't look. Half the presents we've had were terrible.
They were. I would
Straight,
say more than half. I would
straight,
say 2/3 of them were terrible.
straight garbage.
You said half. I say 2/3.
I mean, some of them were during tumultuous time, or they died before they could do any damn thing. Shouldn't have been out there making them long ass soliloquies at the inauguration. Say what the hell you need to say. Go on, go back in there. Shut up. Talk too damn much. Are you dead now?
Mm.
I got something for the members on the. I will post it in general.
Anyway, we about to get out of here. Kamz, tell the people what you got going on, or tell them nothing. We're getting ready to.
I have SOX testing going on right now, so I'm going to be in a terrible mood until about the end of May. Yay, publicly traded company. No, I'm. If you guys have any books that you think are great, please recommend them to me, preferably nonfiction. Trying to read more to have a sense of escapism from every daily episode of Six Hat World that I've been in since January the 20th.
I'm rewatching Lovecraft Country.
Oh, what's so
I,
good?
I'm doing one every 2 days. You know, you need a day or two in between each episode. So I did episode 1 yesterday, and tomorrow I'm going to do episode 2. I also go back and watch my reviews after the episode to see what I was talking about. And yeah.
Whose panel are you going to be on for Drag Race this week?
I don't. I got another travel weekend, so I have a funeral that I have to go to.
Well, my condolences to you.
Thank you. Candace says she just brought back Black as Fuck History.
The book that what's the book I'm currently reading?
I'm waiting for the people to tell me. I was trying to see if anybody found and I guess there is no documentary. I want to see a real documentary on Dr. James Marion Sims and his atrocities in American modern gynecology.
Why I'm no longer talking to white people about race. That's what I'm reading right now.
We may need a book recommendation section in the members only chat. Shout out to the members.
I like the Discord so much more. It's just
It's so much more. You see
It's
how the
more-
Beehive people got their own little section now, and we'll have to be bothered with the Beehive. Shout out to the members. Listen, we about to get out of here and going on over to the members only chat.
Whenever you can, you gonna drag on. Lord.
Yeah, should I make a book recommendation section?
I would love that because like I don't read enough. Okay.
And then I'll make a text
telling
section.
you now I don't read enough.
I'll make a text section too in the members only chat. So yeah.
Not our hero. Ooh, I like that name. Y'all, I gotta read some books. I gotta, gotta keep that mind fresh. We ain't trying to have none of these problems that some of these folks have out here.
So listen, y'all, we about to get up out of here. We going down to the members only chat. I'm about to go pour me a drink because y'all drive me to drink in this country. Remembering Anarsha, thank you. Let me write these down. Oh wow, thank you for these recommendations. Okay, hold on. I got 2. Thank you, Spicy Original. What, my pen don't work? Okay, there we go.
Ooh, Spicy Original, thank you so much. We have a Black women's group, and they've been struggling for some ideas and things to talk about on their vision board. I'm definitely going to bring this up.
What?
When we talk about like, they were talking about like, because there are a lot of women in our Black Employee Resource Group that are pregnant, and I think this is relevant because I think a couple of them are on maternity leave right now. And they've been, before they left, they were saying like the difficulty they had like advocating. They husbands had to like get up in the mix and really just put the foot down. Tracy, you do just be doing shit, but pray for me. I got my CISSP exam later this month. I ain't studied for it yet. I should probably start that.
Also, if there are any members, we've had some new members, and y'all haven't hit me up on with a DM on Instagrams or email so that I can send you the members only the link to the members only chat. I can only do it if you send me a request, so I can send you a link to the members only chat. So Apple TV and Tubi. I don't have Apple TV. I think I have a Tubi account, but I know
I
I
don't
don't.
have Apple TV anymore. My free thing expired. I had it through T-Mobile. It's done, and I'm not paying for it. I only like Severance, so and they take forever to come out with a new season. I'll be all right.
Anyway, we about to get out of here, y'all. We'll be back next week. As we say around here, we love y'all. We love y'all. We love y'all. Whether the country is red or blue, we will always be black.
Or still N words with a hard ER to white people.
Then there's that. We about to get out of here, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.